about your personality on and off the field. It almost made you sound like kind of a Jekyll and Hyde. Do you feel like you take on another persona when you get in between those lines?
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to say. I always like to have fun. I like to laugh and smile and, try to be some comic relief at times. But, when you get on the field and put the pads on, it's a little different. I've always taken pride in how I play, and something that Coach Swinney has challenged us this year especially is, inspire people by the way you play. And I really take that to heart and really try to finish every play and give it all for my teammates. And so, once I step off the field, then I can go back and kind of be in the laughter guy and the funny guy. But, on the field it's definitely it's go time. So.
Matt, you came in from Cincinnati in high school with a reputation as a guy who plays with an edge. What does it take? You say you walk off the field, you become the laughter guy. What do you put on to become the other guy who walk on the field with that edge?
I just think it's for me, it's don't have a short memory, and by that I mean you can't forget all of the work that you put in to get to that point. And a lot of people like to think the season starts on August 1st when fall camp starts, but in reality, the season starts in January. And there's a lot of sacrifice, a ton of sacrifice that we give up throughout the year that most people will never even know the extent of which. And so that's the biggest thing for me is you've sacrificed so much for 12 to 15 games a year, and you can't let that go to waste. And also, it's just the competitive factor. I love to compete, and there's definitely guys out there that are more talented than me, but I'll never be outworked. And it's just really hard on a defensive player when you can finish every play to the whistle and not let up and not relent, and that wears on them throughout the game. And so that's just something that I've really tried to continue to implement in my game throughout college. So.
What are some things personally that you've sacrificed?
A social life, that's probably the biggest one. I'm not from the state or surrounding states, so I don't get to go home very much. I would say I probably get to go home about 5 days a year. Time with family, as my grandparents get older, I haven't really seen them much. Cousins, I have a very close family back home that all live in Cincinnati, and that was a huge part of my life growing up, and we still are close, and thankfully I get to see my immediate family very often. But there's a lot of things that you sacrifice, and talking about a close group of friends in high school who also play at other schools. We get to see each other pretty much on Christmas, if you want to call it that. It's a couple days before Christmas. We spent Christmas in Dallas last year, but so there are a lot of sacrifices, and you have to sacrifice if you want a great reward. But there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, early morning wake ups, and a lot of people in college go out on Thursday nights. Well, we don't. So it's something that you sign up for, and it's something that what you're getting into, but there's definitely an extent to which people don't understand. But I think that's also why here at Clemson that we can be so successful is because guys do sacrifice and they don't try to cut corners, and that's what's really important about having a great team. So.
Jackson from the same area. You guys know each other prior to coming to Clemson, and what's that relationship been like since you got here? Have you kind of gravitated toward each other?
Yeah, absolutely. So we live about 20 minutes apart from each other back home, which is kind of crazy to think that we're down here together. We didn't know each other as well. But, as we started to become more prominent recruits, obviously he was Mr. Big Time. But we kind of, got connected. And then when he got down here, I kind of took ownership for him. And, you know how that is. But, no, Jackson is just his improvement since he's gotten here has been so awesome. And that's something I've been really proud of because, you come in as a really highly touted guy and everyone's got these great expectations. And it's another thing to go do it. And he's really worked hard and just matured, I think, is the biggest thing for him. And so having that friendship and getting the opportunity to play next to each other when I do go in the game on that side, that has been a little bit more special. If we ever do get the opportunity to play Ohio State, I think that, maybe we'll amp it up a little bit for that game. But having that connection from Cincinnati has definitely been really cool. So.
You said earlier this season you and Jackson were having friendly competition, promotion, knockdown.
Yes.
The other one, IHOP.
Oh, yeah. So I would like to say I have gained a little bit of ground in the race. I took the crown this past weekend, no big deal. But, Yeah, it's definitely it's a fun little competition, and there guys on the team have different things like that throughout the season. It just kind of just keeps a little competitive edge. But he's been playing really well. That's what's hard is he's been killing it, and I don't know.
Snap, right?
Yeah, well, I like to think of my nasty edge that I can make up for that, but sometimes I'm, a little bit in over my head. But yeah, I don't know exactly what the numbers are to this point, but I've definitely gained some ground. So.
I know you Cincinnati guys love your Skyline chili. You and Jackson have that stuff shipped into you. How do you get your fix?
Well, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but last game against Louisville, we had ourselves a little Skyline treat, which it's one of those things, like, you got to get your fix, it's like you got to get your fix. And so other than that, yes, I'll have my parents bring me down some. Like I said, I don't really get to go home much, so that's probably the biggest thing. It's like once you get in Cincinnati, you know where you're going. And I try to explain to people down here. It's just impossible to explain, and everyone makes fun of us for it. But the Cincinnati guys know. Isaiah Simmons knows. He has some family in Cincinnati, so yeah, we do what we can. That's for sure.
A hot dog or a corn dog guy?
Hot dog for sure. Yeah.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
That would be an age-old question, and I would say no. I do not believe so.
So you're the jokester. We know that Jackson is singing and playing instruments. Who are the other entertaining guys in the offensive line room?
That's a tough one. I think offensive linemen in general are just kind of weird guys. I think that's a fair statement. And so each of us has our a little different quirks, our personalities. I mean, we're all kind of funny, and we can all give each other a hard time. I mean, Gage Travanka does a great Dave Seville impression. I've typically been tasked with the Robbie Caldwell impression, but, I don't really, claim that too much. I think the person with the most contagious laugh is easily John Simpson. But yeah, on the long bus rides coming from Greenville Spartanburg Airport, we get on each other a little bit, but it's all in good fun. So.
Coach Caldwell just celebrated his 500-career game. One word. What is it?
What is he? I'm going to give you 2 words, and that is tough love. Man, he tells you in recruiting, and he's very honest. He said, I'm going to love you, but you better know what that entails. And it's true. And we all know that he, as offensive linemen and players in general, that he will have our backs no matter what. And he's proven that on numerous occasions for a couple guys. And that really does mean something, that he does care, and I think that's very consistent throughout the coaching staff here, that the coaches really do care. And I don't know, I can't speak on other programs, but I'm not sure it's that way everywhere else. And he coaches us hard, and he demands a level of performance that is, a little bit more than adequate, we'll put it that way. So, but it's something that, looking back, as recently we've really been playing well and start to hit our stride, you can look back and appreciate that fact. Or after a 15-0 national championship season, you can appreciate the fact that, he did ride us so hard. But in the moment, sometimes it is challenging. And I think that's just something that you have to learn as a player, is how to take constructive criticism. But he always makes it a point to let us know that he loves us, and he hasn't been doing it this long for no reason. There's only one longer tenured head coach or assistant coach in the country, and you don't just luck up and do that. And I think that's just a really big testament to his character and his ability as a coach, and the ability to do it at a very high level. So.
Was it for you to be a part of that milestone and see the tribute from all those older guys, and was that the first time you've ever seen him dance?
That is actually not the first time I've seen him dance, unfortunately, but no, he. I think that's really cool that they were able to get that put together from some of the former guys, and it's really amazing to think all of the former players he's had at other schools too, and the amount of guys that know all of the Coach Caldwell-isms, because we know that they haven't changed over the years. They just haven't. And so, it's really special to see him get that sort of recognition. As offensive lineman by nature, you just don't get recognized as much. And, he's not a coordinator or anything, so it's not like he's in the spotlight. But honestly, I don't think he'd like to be. but that was very special. You know, I got to see his family, and they were celebrating with him as well. So I'm sure they're extremely proud of him because I know we were. So.
You said you do a little Robbie Caldwell. You care to break any of that out?
Oh no, we gotta keep that one under wraps. You know, I don't know if I'm at liberty to do that.
Not big Guillermo level yet?
Not quite. You know, those are some big shoes to fill. I'll tell you what, he was, he was the funny guy when he was here. But, you know, because I do the little mic on the bus going to the movie theater, and it's a tough crowd now. They're gonna if they don't think you're funny, they will let you know. So, you know, it's best is the standard.
Does the offensive line have a talent show planned for the future?
Well, we once talked about doing a swimsuit calendar. I don't know about a talent show. I mean, I don't know if I'm particularly talented in any other areas. But that is something to consider. I think that could be maybe a fundraiser thing for the ladies' clinic. You know, I mean, everyone loves the fat guys, right? So that, you know, I'll definitely put that into consideration.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Thanks very much.